Hey, hello, 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 hello. How are you? Listen, you are a high achieving woman. You make good money, but somehow you still feel broke. Ooh. And then every time you try to budget, it falls apart. Listen, good evening, hello, hello. Come on in the room, come on in the room. Where are all my high achieving women who are out here making good money? But somehow you're still feeling a little broke. Go ahead and say, is that you in the comments? Go ahead. Come on. It's okay. This is a very safe space. You can talk to me. Hello, Stephanie. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It's hard sometimes as a high achieving woman. You're still feeling broke, and every time you try to do a budget, it falls apart and you're stuck wondering why. Well, guess what? It's not you. It's the systems that you have in place or the lack thereof. Okay. And today I'm going to break down the three biggest reasons. They're not the only reasons, but three big reasons why budgets fail. But I'm also going to give you some solutions that you can implement right now so that you can get help to take control of your money. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad to see you guys. I'm glad you're happy to be here. I want you to make sure you have pen and paper so you can take you some notes because there's going to be some gems dropped here on tonight. As I say, on tonight. Yes, on tonight. But listen, before we jump right in, I have to say this. It feels so good to be back on my channel with you guys. A little bit of revamping, a little bit of change, and a lot of intentional focus. I had to take some time to put some things on pause, regroup, and refocus. It is the absolute best way to put new processes in place for myself so that I can be more intentional with the things that I need to implement. So I want to tell you, no matter where you are in life, in business, in relationships, in work, no matter what, it is okay to start over. There is magic in starting over. You know why? Because you're starting over with more knowledge. You're starting over with the things that you learn what to do and maybe a little bit of what not to do, who to depend on, and maybe who not to depend on. So, there's nothing wrong with starting over as long as you implement differently than what you did before. All right, you ready? Say ready in the comments. Say ready in the comments. Because what I'm about to do is help you because when I use these processes, it helped me. Generally, when I start talking about using a budget, women begin to cringe, right? Ooh, there she go with that B word. Listen, a budget is your friend. It's your friend. It's your friend. Okay, and let me tell you how your budget is about to become your friend. Hey, ladies, how y'all doing tonight? So let me start with what a budget is not. A budget is not about restriction. A budget is not about cutting out everything that you love to do. So you love to eat out, but it's soaring and it's the amount that you spend is out of control. Okay. We're going to talk about that. Let me tell you what a budget is. Your budget is a tool to help you tell your money where to go. Everybody understand that? Let me say it again for those of you in the back. A budget is a tool to help you tell your money where to go. And I want you to understand that that is how you gain control over your budget, over your money. Okay. It's going to tell your money you go to this place, you go to this place. And not only do you go here, here's how much you take with you. This you take $100, you only get 50, you get 25.50, you get $7.50, whatever it is. But it is the tool that tells your money where to go. And when you start seeing it that way, guess what? Budgeting now becomes empowerment. That's right, Stephanie. It allows you to manage your money instead of your money managing you. Who go to work every day to earn these coins? We do. So the coin should not be telling us what to do. Or we just look up and, oh, that 20 done disappeared. Have mercy. That is not what it's all about. When you realize that you have a relationship with your money, tell me in the comments, have you ever thought about it like that? Have you actually considered that you have a relationship with your money? Not sure to see it that way? Let me help you out. Okay. So if you watch your money, you keep it up. Oh, Yvette, I'm so glad you're here, honey, because let's reshift, refocus. Okay. With relationships, they got to be cultivated, right? And to cultivate a relationship, that means you got to pay it some attention, right? You got to know what it's doing. You got to know where it's going, right? You got to be able to say, okay, this is how much I have in the pot. This is my partner. Okay. And so I need to be able to have some constructive conversations with my partner. You know how you do that? You write it down on a piece of paper called a budget. You write it down. So if you tell your partner in the financial world, hey, I need you to take care of the rent. I need you to take care of the mortgage. I need you to take care of the car note. I need you to take care of the car insurance. But you got to make sure that you're making those deposits and you know exactly how much is coming in so you can tell exactly how much goes out and where it goes. When you cultivate that relationship with your money, it'll do what you want it to do, right? Boo, I fixed that dinner you was looking for. Can I get you to take off some of these things on this honey-do list? You will. You take care of them tomorrow. Okay, honey. Thank you. Come on now. Is that not a relationship? You are in control. Okay. So when you start thinking about it that way, it becomes less restrictive. It becomes less of, I ain't got to write down and tell my money. You do. You do. Because if you don't know where it's going and you don't give every dollar a job, guess what? It'll just be all over the place. Hey, nephew. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm the fun tea. I'm the fun tea. If you don't give every dollar a job, it'll disappear. It will disappear. But when you label every dollar, you tell each dollar what to do, your money works in your favor instead of it just disappearing. Okay. So now that we have talked about what a budget is and what a budget is not, what I want to do is now talk about reasons why your budget fails. Okay. And trust me, let me say this. A lot of you in the audience know me. You know, you've been with me for some time. If you're new to me, hey, y'all, hey, I want you to know that this is a no judgment zone. There is nothing that's going on in your financial world that'll make me say, "Ooh, child, been there, done that." And if I haven't, I've coached someone who has. So it's nothing new under the sun. The difference is that this environment allows you to speak to those pains so that we can get a solution. Okay. So one of the reasons why most budgets fail is that they're too strict. They are too strict. So if you start off by, you come to me, Stephanie, when I met Stephanie, for an example, say Stephanie wasn't saving, right? She was not saving. Now we talked about it. She's got a good understanding, and now she want to save $1,000 in 30 days. Ma'am, slow it down, bring it down, okay? Or she has been spending because she like to go out and party, right? She like to go out and dance, or perhaps let's see, Jill is here. Perhaps Jill is a shoe shopper. She's not, so don't. This she's just using it as an example. But if she's a shoe shopper, right? And now I'm telling her you can't buy no shoes. period. Ma'am, what is you talking about? I just found those shoes that I really want. Okay. Well, how about we put it on a budget and you take, is it reasonable? Right? Now we start saying, do you need 5 pair or really do you only need one? Do you need one and want four? Or do you want 5? You don't need any. We have to make some declarations in our budget as to what we want versus what we need. And once we decide what those things are, then we can loosen up our budget, right? It doesn't have to be totally restrictive. My ladies who are big on eating out, guess what? They don't have to stop eating out forever. That's unreasonable. But they do have to stop for a period of time and then build in a budget that's reasonable and something they can stick to. Okay. So when you have unrealistic expectations of what you're going to do and not do, your budget becomes too strict and you will fail. You set yourself up for failure. All right. So here's the solution. You ready? Y'all ready for the solution? Build a budget that works with your lifestyle. Simple. You like to eat out? Okay, cool. Determine an amount per paycheck that you will spend over the next pay period eating out. Now, you tell me $500, I'm going to say that's not reasonable. But if you put aside $50, $100, if that's reasonable, then fine. Once that amount is depleted, you don't go out again until you get paid again. You start with reasonable amounts in your budget. Okay. Number two, the second reason that budgets fail, they have no flexibility. I tell the ladies, and I'm going to tell you if this is your first time hearing me, your budget has to be fluid, liquid, movable, flexible. So when life happens, it doesn't totally knock you off balance, right? When you leave the house in the morning, you don't plan to have an accident. That's why it's called an accident. But now you got to come up with $250 or $500 for a deductible for them to start working on your car and replace it. At least that's at least what we hope. Okay. So how do you have room in your budget? Okay. You have to have an emergency fund. You have to have other sinking funds that you can tap into. We're not going to go too far into that. But the second reason that budgets do fail is because you don't have flexibility. So, what's the solution? Okay, let me see who's in the chat. Gina. Hey, Gina. Let's say Gina is over in the city of brotherly love, and they have this chocolate factory out there. Oh my gosh, it's to die for. All right. And Gina has a habit. She got a chocolate habit. And she usually can go in there at one time and spend $100. Okay, you know what? Let's look at the entertainment fund. What's in our entertainment fund? What's in our eating out fund? Okay, so now we've got a budgeted amount for what we can spend. So she goes in there and then over a 2-week period, she spends $25. That's in her budget. She created a budget for that chocolate fix she needs to have, right? Veronica, hey, Veronica might like to hit the movie theater, right? And movie theaters ain't what they used to be. Them things they cost, okay? Or you know what? It's been a long week. She knows for her fact on Friday night she going out to get that steak she loves over there at that place she loves. But she don't never like that bill when it comes. But if she's prepared for it, it's okay because it's in the budget. She's got flexibility. Okay. Another way that I encourage you to add flexibility is to use a cash system. I know we have gotten away from using cash, everything goes on a card, but listen, You got to be more reasonable for yourself. Find out what things make you tick. And if you know that as long as you know you got a pot of money on that card, not always thinking about what it is that's coming through that account, then you need to get a cash system. So when you get paid, right? When you get paid, and I hope you guys are writing this down. These are some tips now. These are some tips. Write it, put it in the envelope. So let me tell you what I did. And I took this from Dave Ramsey, his envelope system. When I first started trying to budget, and I was a good and grown adult, so don't feel bad if you haven't been successful with it yet, because your day is coming sooner than you think. I would go and sit down, and if I did $100 every 2 weeks, or I had kids back then, so my budget was probably $300. I would put $300 in an envelope, and I would label that envelope groceries. Okay, eating out, gas. Those were my three major envelopes, especially for the eating out and the groceries. There were I made a list, okay? And that list went into that envelope. So when I would go to the grocery store, I would specifically shop from the list and I could only spend what was in the envelope. The same with the eating out. We wanted to go out to eat, we could only spend what was in the envelope until the next pay period. It's a very simple way to give yourself structure and control without feeling restricted. And guess what? Because your budget is fluid, if you need to adjust those amounts up or down, you do so on the next pay period. Y'all got that? Does that make sense? Is it connecting? Is it clicking? Yvette, tell me what you think about that. Because when you don't realize that you have a relationship with your money, it's a shift. It's a shift, and we shift a lot around here, right? And then once you start creating that flexibility within your budget, now you have ways to pivot. You've got categories. You've got a clear understanding of I'm only spending this amount of money. And you know what that's going to do at the end of the month? It's going to show you where your money went, how much money came in, where it went, and even say, you know what? I didn't realize I brought in that much money because I was always just spending, spending, spending. It's a great system. Good. I'm glad you like it. So, here's one of the most important reasons that budgets fail. Your budget is not tied to a goal. When your budget is not connected to a goal, you end up all over the place. Okay. So let me ask you guys some questions. I want you to put it in the chat. All right. Why do you want to create a budget? Why do you want to create a budget? You tried other things before, you stopped. Why is now the time for you to create a budget? Let me tell you something. Your goal for creating X, whether X is a budget, whether it's you want to go on a trip, whether whatever X is, it's got to be so strong and personal to you that nothing gets in the way of you accomplishing that goal. I'm going to say that again. Your why you want to do something has to be so strong and personal that nothing will get in the way of you reaching that goal. So Stephanie says she needs to save an emergency fund. Why do you need an emergency fund? When you think about an emergency fund, what is it for? Right? Having an emergency fund as a just in case is always a good reason. But how do you make that even more personal to you and what it is you're trying to accomplish? Let me give you an example. I need to have an emergency fund because I'm about to buy a house or I want to buy a house. I already know going into that there are going to be costs that I may not have thought of. That when I bought the house, the roof looked fine. 6 months later, I need a new roof. So I want to have an emergency fund that will cover me if I need to have a $500 for my deductible to get my car fixed. I need to have an emergency fund that will cover my tires because the winter is coming and maybe I need to winterize my car. I need to have an emergency fund because I got two little nappy headed children that have just gone back to school and they don't know how to act right. Okay, that fund just for them. Okay, so it's got to be personal. It has to be personal so that you stay dedicated. When you're tied to a why, you're more likely to be successful to to reach that goal. Stephanie said, I just brought new tires. Well, guess what? You probably need to replace that money that went on those tires. Okay? Because I know it probably came out of a saving fund. Okay? Veronica says traveling fund for my 3 trips that are booked in 2020. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because when I want to go to destination A, destination B, and destination C, I need X amount of dollars for A because it's local. I need X amount of dollars for B because it's across the country. And I need X amount of dollars for C because it's international. And those numbers don't all look the same. So when you decide that your goal is tied to a why, guess what? You're more likely to reach that goal. Okay. So I want to encourage you to pick short term goals. All right. Pick one short term, maybe 2 or 3 short terms, and one long term. And as you create your budget, tie it in, tie it in. Stephanie say Mexico in 2026. I heard a little something about that. I heard a little something about that. Okay. So it's tied to a goal. That so Stephanie says Mexico in 2026. How much does it cost? Talking about your room, your flight. How much money do you need for travel insurance? How much do you need for excursions while you're there? These are things that you need to take into account when setting how much money is going to be in the Mexico 2026 fund. And as you create that budget and every deposit that you make into it gets you closer to your goal. Hey, Sissy Pooh, how are you? You guys, I gained a sister last year. All right. So here's what I want you to understand. Once you create first to Dallas, Costa Rica, and then Tulum. Okay, Veronica. Yeah. See, she on it. She started in January. I don't know when Costa Rica is, and then and Tulum sometime next summer. She's just a traveling girl. I'm not mad at her. I'm gonna be like her when I grow up one day. So listen, do you guys like free gifts? Tell me in the chat. Do you like free gifts? Do you like free gifts? I have a gift for you. All right. So to help you get started with this new step that you're going to take in your life, okay, and with this new step you're going to take in your life, it can be overwhelming, right? If anybody's feeling overwhelmed, just type overwhelm in the chat because you understand what your money looks like. You know what you have, what you don't have, and what you need, right? So, Nicole, how am I going to create a budget with what I'm doing? There's one thing I want you to do first. I want you to organize your finances. How do you do that? Here's what I suggest for my people. The first thing that you need to do is determine when all your bills are due. That's the first thing. And a lot of people don't really actually know that. When are your bills due? Okay. And I'm gonna give you a bonus. I'm gonna give you a bonus. Write this down. Write this down. When you this form that I'm gonna give you, okay, I just put it in the chat. It's coming up. It's coming up. When you get this form and you download it, it's called the bill pay worksheet. Okay. When you download that form, it's going to tell you, it's going to help you outline when your bills are due. It's going to be about 4 different boxes, and they're going to give you dates. You're going to take that form and fill out when all of your household bills are due so that you have them sectioned off. The first through the 10th, the 11th through the 15th, the 16th through the 25th, and the 26th through the 30th. However, those dates fall. I want you to outline all your bills that way. Okay. Here's your bonus tip. How many times a month, put it in the chat. I want you to put it in the chat. How many times a month do you sit down to pay your bills? Doody 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 doo. Doody doody doo. Now, some of y'all are trying to figure that out. Most of you will say, and those of you who have been with me for a while used to say about 8. Stephanie says weekly, right? Okay. But those of you who have been with me for a while know you should only be paying bills as many times as you get paid. But how, Nicole? Let me tell you. If you only get paid twice a month or every other Friday, your pay should be when you pay bills. If you set your structure up that way, every time you get paid, your bill pay worksheet is going to help you determine this paycheck covers these bills and this paycheck is going to cover these bills. Some of your bills you're going to pay a little bit further before the due date, and that's okay. That's helping you to establish credit. We're not going to get into that. Hey, Cynthia. Okay. But Stephanie, I love you. You win a big hug. I'm going to see you in January and I'm going to give you a big hug. Okay. So you should be paying your bills as often as you get paid. Stephanie gets paid weekly. That's a bit much for me. Okay. But you can make it work for you. And we'll talk about how to schedule and do auto payments and all of that. We'll get into that later on, but not tonight. Today, I want you to focus on organizing. Okay? Because we're walking towards budgeting for your lifestyle. And when you get your finances in structural order, as your pay increases, you start to find money that's really there. You're not seeing it because it's not structured correctly. Then your savings deposits will increase. You'll start to do things differently and you'll start to see over time your money going up. And then once you start saving more, then we'll work on investing more. Okay? But baby steps. All right? Baby steps. So the bill pay worksheet is actually a part of a full gym bag. I had a part of my business that was called Girl, Your Money Matters, which is affectionately known as the gym, where we have all sorts of exercise to help you get financially fit. It's still a part of the brand. And so when I start talking about organizing and structuring, we're getting our workout on in the gym for our money. Okay, the gym for our money. So the link is in the chat. In case you missed it, I'll drop it here again, where you can download your bill pay worksheet to help you start to structure your finances in order of when bills are due. Okay. And once you get that worksheet, I'll check on you in a few days, or you can feel free to reply to the email that you get that has the download so that you can tell me, Nicole, this is where my struggles are. This is what I'm worried about. This is what keeps me up at night, because those things also have a direct impact on your budget. All right. So I'm going to also give you an extra bonus tonight. I am coming with the bonuses on tonight. So one of the things that has been big with my community is actually finding ways to save and being more creative. So currently, starting this past September 1st, we started a no eat out challenge. So they're not eating out for the whole month, okay, unless they have funds already set aside in their entertainment folder. Okay, they already have some funds set aside in their intimate entertainment folder, but we're also focused on saving dimes, right? So here's my explanation as to why dimes were chosen. Sometimes we just don't have a process for saving. And I don't want you to set yourself up for failure and try to save super big, okay? Not save super big. I want you to build up. Okay. And as I said, a lot of us are not using cash. So, in order to save dimes, not only are we taking it from the change that we break, but we're also being intentional with going into the bank or the grocery store, whichever one works, to get rolled dimes. If you have a 20-ounce bottle and you fill it up with dimes, you'll save $100. If you fill a 2-liter bottle up with dimes, you'll save about $600. Okay, so they are starting their Save Dimes challenge. One of our other members, she's been saving single dollar bills and $5 bills all year long. So this Saturday, I'll find out from them what they've saved over the course of the year, and we'll track because they've been doing very well in their savings. So I created a savings challenge workbook. It has 12 months of various challenges that make saving fun for you. Nothing drastic, nothing hard, just something to help you be intentional. Pick one, use it out of order. It doesn't matter. The goal is to create the habit of saving so that as your money begins to increase, all you have to do is change the deposit amount. Your savings habit is already in place. You create the habit so that when the money changes, you just increase the deposit. Okay? Listen, I'm super excited to have you guys get these free downloads so that you can start implementing slow and steady. When you become consistent, I promise you, the amount of money that you'll begin to see in your budget, the control that you will gain, the savings amount. Let's see, I'm not gonna name no names this time. I tell all their business. I secure and keep their identity a secret. But there was one who, when she came to me, she wasn't saving at all. There is a couple of them, but she also wasn't buying her medication. Now she not only saves every month, and she gets paid once a month. Every month she's making a deposit that has a comma in it. Every month she takes at least 2 cruises a year. All right. And she's a teacher. So that tells you the salary ain't the best. But because of strategic planning and structure, she's buying her medication, she's saving, and she's traveling. She's doing all the things. All right. So some of you might need to go deeper with me. And what I offer is a prosperity intensive guide and program. This is a step by step through a full money reset so that you can really, really, really restructure your financial habits so that you can begin to live life on your own terms. For some of you, retirement is not that far off. For some of you, you're mid career, kids are getting older, you are buying a home, you need assistance. I want you to reach out to me. When you download either of those forms, you'll have a direct contact link to reach out to Wealthy Women Lifestyle so that we can talk about getting your financial affairs in order. Okay. I've talked to you tonight about 3 reasons why budgets fail, but you also have 3 reasons, 3 solutions for those reasons. Now you can start implementing change tonight. I'd like to hear from you guys. Which one of those habits hits hard for you at home? Hits hard for you. What was one of your struggles? Or what was an aha moment? Okay. Was it that you don't have to be really strict in a budget? Was it learning that you need to have flexibility in your budget? Or is it learning that you need to have your budget has to have a goal? Which one of those things resonated the most? Go ahead and let me tell me in the chat. All right. But I also want you to understand this. There is magic in starting over. I have so enjoyed the time and the process that I used to be able to slow down, because the level of intentionality when I start, well, now that I'm back, man, it keeps me on fire. And so, for those of you who are, Veronica says budget flexibility hits home for her. Excellent, excellent. So, those of you who are new to me, I want to welcome you to the Nicole Johnson TV channel here on YouTube. I want you to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Stephanie says the flexibility. Baby, when I tell you we love options, options are a thing for us, okay? They are a thing for us. I love being able to have options. Again, it might be the control fanatic in me. um, Benny says her budget needs a goal. So that good. I'm glad that resonated with you. Okay. So I want you guys to make sure that you get the downloads. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, because I'll be doing a new episode every Thursday night at 7 p.m., as well as I'll be reminding you that on Friday we do what? I'm gonna let them tell you in the chat. What do we do on Friday? This is so important because it continues to add to the intentionality, consistency of making your money work for you. Y'all tell them in the chat. Go ahead. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Tell them in the chat. What do we do on Friday? Yes, Veronica, we dump our change. What exactly does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. So on Fridays, whether you do it first thing in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening when you come home from the day, you start with a $20 bill, a $10 bill on Monday. You've broken that $10 bill, that $20 bill, but you have no idea where that money went. But that change, it more than likely went to the bottom of your purse. So clean out your purse, clean out your pants pockets. If you had company this week, check your couch cushions. I guess probably going to be some change up in there. Put it in a jar, dump your change. Don't worry about counting it. It is the habit of creating a pattern of savings. I had a young lady who did not really understand. She went on and she did it for 3 years. Every Friday, dumped her change. When her son got sick, she had to take 3 months off of work. She turned that change in, and that change paid her bills for 3 months. Gina says the gift that keeps on giving. Absolutely. So when you do that, you be surprised at how much change you save. But I want you to hear this because it has two meanings. Change will change your life. You take it however you want, whether it's the change in your jar or it's the change in your habits. But either way, change will change your life. I'm so glad to be here with you guys on this channel. If this resonated with you, say resonate, type resonate, love it, whatever. Type it in the chat. And I look forward to being here next Thursday, where we continue with the concept of budgeting for your lifestyle. Invite a friend, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you turn on your notifications. I absolutely love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. You all have a good evening. I'll see you next